obligation has been used as a persuasive technique since the beginning of time. Door-to-door salespeople offer free brushes, free encyclopedias, and free estimates in the hope of securing a sale. People throw parties in their homes, serving refreshments and giving away free Tupperware or other products. We all know how hard it is to attend a friend's party, eat their food, take their free gift, and then go home without buying a thing. So, what do? We order the cheapest item in the catalog to get rid of the obligation or indebtedness we feel to the host. During World War I, some soldiers were given a special assignment to make sorties into enemy territory in order to capture and question enemy soldiers. A particularly skilled German soldier was instructed to fulfill one such mission. As he had on numerous other occasions, he negotiated the area between fronts and caught an enemy soldier off guard, eating his lunch alone in a trench. Unaware of what was happening, the startled soldier was easily captured, not knowing what else to do. The soldier tore off a piece of bread and gave it to his captor. The German was so surprised by the friendly gesture that he couldn't follow through with his assignment. Turning away from the soldier, he headed back into the neutral territory and on to face the wrath of his superiors. Maybe this has happened to you. You are attempting to buy a car and are playing hardball with the sales rep. You have negotiated back and forth and are getting nowhere. You are ready to walk away when he says that he will talk to his manager one last time. As he gets up, he says, "You know I am thirsty, so I am going to get myself a soda. Would you like one?" "Sure," you say, oblivious to his tactic. He comes back with the soda and a better deal from his manager. It's not the deal you wanted, but you feel it's the best you are going to get, so you accept it. As you think about it later, it dawns on you that you bought the car because of a subconscious trigger. The moral of the story is to never take a drink from the car sales rep before you have settled on a price. That drink serves as an obligation trigger. You feel indebted to the car dealer because of this small courtesy, and he knows it. He created the obligation with a 50-cent can of soda. You return the favor and get out of his debt by buying a $20,000 car. Definition of the law of obligation. The law of obligation, also known as reciprocity, states that when others do something for us, we feel a strong need, even a push, to return the favor. Returning the favor rids us of the obligation created by the first good deed. The adage, "one good turn serves and deserves another," seems to be a part of social conditioning in every culture. And even beyond that, the maxim serves an ethical code that does not necessarily need to be taught, but nevertheless is understood. For example, when someone smiles or gives a compliment, we feel a great need to return the smile or compliment. Even when these gestures are unsolicited, we feel a sense of urgency to repay the person who has created the mental or psychological debt. In some cases, our need to repay this debt is so overwhelming that we end up dramatically exceeding the original favor. The obligation trigger created by the car salesman's soda offer is a classical example of this principle. People can consciously trigger feelings of indebtedness and obligation in others by carrying an uninvited favor. Even if we don't want or ask for a gift, invitation, or compliment, we still feel the need to return the favor when we receive it. Merely being indebted, even in the slightest sense of the word, can create enough psychological discomfort and sometimes even public embarrassment that we go to extraordinary lengths to remove the burdensome obligation we feel. This is when we often disproportionately reward the original giver. When my family moved to the new area, we gave a small Christmas gift to all our neighbors. I don't think the gifts cost more than $5 each. We were new on the block and wanted to get to know our neighbors. About 30 minutes after delivering the gifts to our new neighbors, the doorbell rang. There stood on one of the neighbors with a large box of truffles in one hand. This box had to have holding at least $50 worth of chocolates. She said, "Welcome to the neighborhood and happy holidays." With that, she was off and on her way. She couldn't cope with the sudden debt she felt toward my family. So, to rid herself of her feelings of obligation, she gave back 10 times more than she would originally receive. This is why people buy extra holiday presents to have on hand just in case someone delivers a gift that they did not count on. The law of obligation also applies that when there are favors we wish we could ask, but we know we are not in a position to repay them or perhaps even ask for them in the first place. The psychological and emotional burden created by such circumstances is often great enough that we would rather lose the benefits of the favor by not asking for it at all than experience the embarrassment and likely rejection that might come from asking. For example, a woman who receives expensive gifts from a man may complain that although she is flattered by and likes getting the gifts, she feels an uncomfortable sense of obligation to repay her suitor. Furthermore, she may express frustration at the perception held by the suitor that because of these gifts, the woman would or should be more sexually accessible. Studies have shown that converse is true when individuals break the reciprocity rule by showering favors on someone without giving them a chance to repay. There is an equal amount of discomfort. The drive to alleviate feelings of obligation is so powerful that it can make us bend toward people we don't even know. One university professor chose names at random from a telephone directory and then sent these complete strangers his Christmas cards. Holiday cards addressed to him came pouring back, all from people who did not know him and, for that matter, who had never even heard of him. The law of obligation can be used to eliminate animosity or suspicion. In one study, Cornell University researcher Dennis Reagan had two individuals try to sell raffle tickets to unsuspecting workers. One individual made a conscientious effort to befriend the workers before attempting to sell any tickets. The other individual made a point of being rude and obnoxious around the workers. While on the break, the individual who had previously been rude to his prospects bought them drinks before trying to get them to buy tickets. The results of the study showed the rude individual actually sold twice as many raffle tickets, even though the other had been so much nicer and more likable. On another occasion, a man was stranded on the side of the road because his car had run out of gas. A young man pulled over and identified himself as a friend of the man's daughter. He took the man to get gas and then brought him back to his car, of course feeling indebted. The man said, "If you ever need anything, just ask." 3 weeks later, capitalizing on the offer, the young man asked if he could borrow the man's expensive car. The man's best judgment screamed, "Are you crazy? You don't know if you can trust this kid to get it back to you in one piece." But the mental pressure to satisfy his obligation to the young man won out over his better judgment, and he loaned the young man his car. The pressure to reciprocate is strong enough that when people don't return the favor, they are viewed with contempt and disgust. Accepting gifts or favors without attempting to return them is universally viewed as selfish, greedy, and heartless. It is often strictly due to this internal and external pressure that people conform to the rule of reciprocity. The law of dissonance. A pair of researchers, Elliot Aronson and Judson Mills, claimed that persons who go through a great deal of trouble or pain to attain something tend to value it more highly than persons who attain the same thing with a minimum of effort. Additional research confirmed their assertion when co-eds who were required to endure pain rather than embarrassment to get into a group desired membership more than their counterparts. In one particular case, the more pain one young man endured as part of their initiation, the more she later tried to convince herself that her new group and its activities were interesting, intelligible, and desirable. And another study of 54 tribal cultures found that those with the most dramatic initiation rituals also have the most unity and commitment, and these groups oppose any attempts to undermine or destroy these customs, which render so much strength to their tribe and their culture. Understanding the psychology of commitment through publicity can be used to bring about good societal challenges. Many organizations exist to help individuals conquer bad habits, patterns, or abuses. For example, weight loss centers commonly encourage clients to share their goals with as many friends